Didn't we tell you? I think we told you. And I think we told you last week. And you know what? I got receipts. I just feel like it's been a while since we've seen an ass whooping. Like, I'm talking about like Denver, Seattle ass whooping from
I want that. So
from fucking kickoff to the end of the game. Just a complete ass whooping. What
can I say except you're welcome?
Let's hunt.
If we don't come together right now on this hollow ground.
Where are you going? I'm going to pick a fight.
Get some nothing!
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is that why you're here?
Let the games begin. This is where we hold them! This is where we fight! This is where they die!
Yeah, I think
I'm going to Disney World.
Welcome everybody back to another episode of Victory Mondays, the episode of Victory Mondays, and your Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champs. The boys have got time for me today. I got the boys with me, humble Ernie Be. What's up, bros?
We here.
Yes,
we did it,
champions.
Man. We did it, baby. We did it.
We said it. A couple podcasts. We said it. Not one, but two.
Mm-hmm.
And if you see at the bottom right there, this new era, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. You like how I did that? You like how I did that? This new era is going to hurt. Mm-hmm. This new era is going to hurt.
Two, you starting a little something.
We talked about it, and I think everybody's kind of catching up, right? We talked about Dynasty. We talked about this new era. We're going to go through the game. We're going to talk about Kellen Moore, some records that were broken during the whole season. The new Hurts era is what it's looking like. And then re-ranking the quarterbacks in the NFL today, which will be interesting to see how you guys kind of play that game. I've seen a couple of things on social media that I thought was interesting. And I thought it would be kind of cool to go through that little exercise. But, hey, man, let's talk about the game. 40-22, belts to asses. Like I said, I kept my receipt this time. I typically don't. We always talk about, oh, yeah, I think you said that. I think you said that. You know what? I want to make sure that people know when they hit this video and they look at this video and they see it, your boys called it first. Like, when was the last time we saw a good-fashioned ass whooping? And that's what we saw. From bell to bell, from post to post, from the flip of the coin to the kneeling of Kenny Pickett, who was a backup. Have you ever seen a backup take a knee in the Super Bowl?
They all win it. All the backups.
All the backups. Every backup played in that game for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Threw the twos in on them to get that two, man.
I like that. Put them twos in to get them twos. Man, I mean, I don't even know where to go, where to start. Everything is so good. It was almost too perfect. It was a button-up season, and the Super Bowl was a bow for us, just to kind of look at nice at our present, man. I'll open up the floor because I'm still on that high. Wasn't wearing this jersey. I was wearing an Eagles shirt. I guess might be my lucky Eagles shirt moving forward. But I wanted to show love to Double Nickel just in case it is his last game. Ernie B, man, I'll go with you, man. Just tell me about your day leading up to the game, what you saw in the game, and, like, could you believe what you were watching, what was unfolding? Because not only did Patrick Mahomes, not only did Steve Spagnuolo, not only did Andy Reid, but the whole entire Chiefs organization looked completely lost. Like they just saw a ghost out on the field, and it was evident, and the ghost was green.
Well, I don't. We're not going to dive into my ritualistic ways before a great Eagles game, but I think the where I really questioned my faith in the team in the game was just when that OPI on AJ Brown, right off the bat.
Very in the beginning, right?
I would just I looked at one of my buddies. I said, man, are we really going to do this? Like, are they really going to come in here? Are we going to do this? But then, a little bit after, Dallas Goedert, Trent McDuffie hits him in the face, and it just showed that they were going to call anybody hitting somebody in the head that game. And it benefited the Eagles. Calls went well. Thought it was glad we're not having to talk about the referees today.
Absolutely.
I mean, that was the worst part about 2022, aside from other things. But I just think, like you guys said, man, I've been saying it all year. I've said the Philadelphia Eagles are the 2024 Philadelphia Eagles were an off the bus football team, which means they are just intimidating the second they get off the bus. And I saw a team that wanted it more. I saw a team that had the look on their face from the first run out. I mean, you saw Chiefs players smiling, laughing, just jumping around like it's just about to be given to them. And the death stares of the Eagles' faces running out of the tunnel. I mean, it looked like they were going to war, and that's what they did. And, I mean, by the end of the second quarter, you could see it in the Chiefs' trenches. They didn't want it. They didn't want it. And the Eagles just kept punching and punching and punching. And you got a good old-fashioned ass whooping, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Humble, I'll swing over to you, man. I mean, I know we were talking leading up to the game. We were talking a little bit during the game. Really not much more to be said instead of, we are kicking the shit out of them. We kicked them in the dick, for real. I mean, talk to me about your experience watching the game. Where were you at? Did you get to Broad Street? You know what I mean? What was you about last night?
Well, let's first talk about that game itself. And I'm good with the signs. So we got another sign here, and this is what it looked like. It was more about belt to ass whipping on a good old Super Bowl Sunday by yours truly, Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes.
EALEGS. I guess that's how they've been spelling Eagles now.
It's not, but go ahead.
Let's
spell it right. Let's put some respect on the Eagles name.
But yeah, man, it was to tell you the truth is what obviously I didn't expect a blowout that way. I never expected 34-0 at a point in the game. I did feel real confident in this game, probably just as confident I felt during the Patriots Super Bowl in 2017 that we were going to win by more than 10 points. I think we talked about that a couple times. Yeah. I just felt strongly that this team was better all around the board. I thought we matched up well across the board. And I just thought that although Kansas City Chiefs were 15-2, I didn't feel like they really had a convincing win throughout the whole season. And I just knew that you will need to have a convincing win to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. We were just clicking on all cylinders. We've gotten better throughout the playoffs. You can just see the chemistry that Ernie was talking about, like coming off the bus. They were just focused. It was no short of amazing to see us do what we did and really able, like you said, to be able to put our backups in probably the whole fourth quarter if we really wanted to really act crazy. But it was just really good to see that everybody got a piece of that. Kenny Pickett was able to get in there. He's a local kid from
threw a pass,
Jersey area, and threw a pass.
Yeah, right.
Man, very special. I'm not sure what it did if we've exposed more about Patrick Mahomes, or was it just that O-line that just could not stop that was like a revolving door with that D-line of rushing four, and it's insane, man. It was just insane. It was just insane. Salute to Jalen Hurts, man. I do want to talk about Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, we'll get to Hurts. Don't worry. We got time for him, so don't worry about that. We got time at the end for Mr. Hurts, but I want to keep going into the game because this is the first time, like when I looked at this matchup, obviously on paper, Ernie said it off the bus, Eagles were kind of better, but I didn't think it was going to show. Like they really had no answer for us in all three phases of the game. In all three phases of the game, they really had no answer for us. I mean, Elliott was perfect. Like Elliott looked like back in the day, Jake Elliott, right? Kicking. What we had two or three penalties on kicks that pushed them back 5 yards. Nothing. Right down the middle. Right down the middle. Right down the middle. Nothing even close. Right. So on all three phases of the game, it was a masterclass. And to me, I I've always been a Sirianni fan, but to out-coach Andy in this way, Kellen Moore, Vic Fangio, putting their guys in position, like, I mean, it was just a masterclass. I don't like. I mean, we talked, like I said, I can't. I just keep going back to the receipt about seeing a team really just dominate a team.
Mhm.
And the last time I seen that, I think Tampa did it to KC pretty well, and I think that the Seattle and Denver game,
Yeah.
like just a domination like you've never seen before. And I'm happy we were on the right side of that, right? We were on the right side of that,
sure.
of that. So with that being said, I mean, obviously there's always turnover when you win Super Bowls, right? We talked about, Kellen Moore, Fangio. We know Fangio's not going anywhere. I know you got ears to the streets, Ernie B. Kellen Moore sticking around to run it back, you think? Or is that Saints deal kind of like already done?
I think we got 90-10 on that one. I think there's a 10% chance he comes back. I think 90% chance he's not going to pass up the opportunity of being one of 32. While I think it would be astounding to see what this offense could be in a second year under Kellen Moore, Jalen Hurts statistically has always done his best with a second year with an offensive coordinator. Shane Steichen was.
What is it? 12 years? Is it 12 years that he's had a difference?
It goes back to high school. Like his dad for a while in college was his last, play caller. I mean, he just finds ways to win, and that means you're going to lose your coaches. I would say on Kellen Moore, wouldn't
it make sense for him to stay though? Like, doesn't it make sense? I was like, doesn't it make sense for Moore to stay? I mean, unless he's desired to be a head coach this whole time he's been passed over, but it's not. He's not walking into a good situation in New Orleans at all.
It's not, and that's where my argument would come from. But they can pay him double what we would pay him to be a coordinator, so you got to take that into account. Something like
money always
$14 million a year compared to $6 is, and that would be like the most money we could offer him. But I'm pretty sure he's already getting that. So it's on him. I think it'd be smarter for him to hold off and wait till the next cycle. It would be a miracle if he did. I think the last guy to kind of do something like this, barring a deal not being done, was Josh McDaniels when he bailed on the Colts years ago. Where I would say, though, I think the biggest concern is how do they handle the next thing. Luckily, obviously, Fangio's not going anywhere. And so far, we haven't lost any key assistants. Nobody's, tried to leave or has been poached yet. So we're looking pretty good there. That's front office and coaching staff. So, you have Kevin Patullo, who would be the internal answer. And I've heard a couple rumors that that's kind of the way they're leaning. You got Bobby Slowick, who's available from Houston. But apparently he had some trouble getting along with CJ Stroud. And I just don't know if that's the best idea to bring a guy like that in. Who knows? He's young. He was, he had head coach.
He was a hot name at one point, right?
He was. He had a pretty big thing going for him. Patullo is Sirianni's right-hand man. So I'm curious to see how the offense would go in that sense. I mean, Kellen Moore called a good Super Bowl, but it was just very simple. It was like, let your players go make plays and let Jalen, give Jalen the ability to be clean. And I thought he played, one of the best games of his career.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to Jalen too, because I think Jalen's a good topic and a big topic to talk about. But getting with Kellen Moore, Humble, I'll switch over to you, man. We've seen him come and go. Everybody's seen him come and go, and I kind of, you see below and the era of Hurts. This era is going to hurt, and I think Hurts had a saying in one of his press conferences that what he said, it's not a man on an island. It takes everybody, right? It's not just one person. How would you think this impact of Kellen Moore possibly going away is going to affect maybe Hurts and just the offense in general? Because, I mean, Saquon everybody feels like we're just getting started. And I think that's starting to trickle on to the fans, right? I think Saquon came out and it's like, this next year is going to be my best year. And he just ran for 2,000, right? So, I mean, what do you think about from a coaching perspective? Obviously, when you win, you lose some of those pieces. But do you think that, is it, like Ernie B said, Jalen's been through this multiple times over. It's going to hurt us, you think, or is it, that continuity is important, or Jalen's done this so many times, it's kind of rinse and repeat at this point.
I think anytime you have a new change of coordination, it's going to be some bumps and bruises along that transition, right? I think what makes this transition easier is that this is not the first time, not the second time, not the third time. Like, we've been down this road before. Yeah. And I think what's going to happen as long as I think this is where Sirianni comes in. I think, like I said, I ripped up that one sheet of paper, not because we won a Super Bowl, but mainly because I've seen. Well, no, not. But it was before then. You know what I mean? It was before.
Well, we told Nick, we trust, and Nick, we trust.
But it was more about the transition of his maturity as a head football coach. I think you've seen that in the way he talks now. I think you see that in his interviews. I feel like it's just a growth over the past 6 months.
Yeah,
something's gotten to his ear where it's kind of changed a whole. I don't know.
He's great on his feet and adapting.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I think you might have been right where he was kind of in his feelings in the beginning, but it was also working at the same time, even though it was working in wins, but in the background, we knew there were some issues there. But he's great at adapting, bro. Like, Sirianni, he can shift with the wind. And then once he finds that lane that works, he just rides it the whole way.
Yeah, I felt like before he was inputting himself in the games that were unnecessary. And maybe he might have felt like he needed to do that early on in the season with all the transitions that he continuously had with his coordinators. I felt like
How old is Sirianni's young, right?
43.
43? Okay.
Yeah. So just think about you on the sideline. You hype, dog. Like, it ain't no way you're gonna stay cool.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it in that way. I'm saying I want to respect his transition. Because I think before it was more him, like you can see him in there doing certain things. It's like, man, what are we doing? And I feel like it got to a point when we got to the bye that maybe some players that said, hey guys, we're good enough. We don't have to do too much. Let us do what we got to do, and we're gonna be good. And I think he's taken that and then kind of start leading from that point on. So I want to salute to Sirianni. I think this is gonna be a big part with this transition. So I think Sirianni can stir the ship. So I think what's going to happen, the offense coordinator is going to come in here, and I think they know they got the core is going to be there, O-line is going to be here. You got your four main pieces: Hurts, Barkley, Smith, AJ. You add Goddard to that, so you have the stability there. You see the recipe of what success is. So I know Sirianni has studied this guy. I can't think of the coach's name. Sorry for forgetting the coach's name. What he had learned was it was about, and they call it the PFPs, is player formation plays. And what that has learned to do is, who was it?
Larry Karras.
Yeah,
from Mount Union.
And I think what he's learned from that in those Jersey days, that we got to fit what fits the players versus what my system is. And I think that's what I was arguing about early in the first four games. It's like, bro, we got to get back to the RPO. We got to get back to handing the ball off. We can't have Jalen Hurts throwing the ball 30 plus times. And it seemed like that switch was flipped come week 5 and on after the bye. And I think the new coordinator is going to be able to come in here and do the same thing. I think you have a great leader in Jalen Hurts, who's going to be able to kind of get everybody rallied around to follow the lead. And I think that's what you need as your star. And I think we'll be okay because the pieces are here. I don't care who is. Ernie B can be there at coordinator. I think if you keep it to the basics,
too, Ernie B, you cooking,
right? I think if you keep it to the basics, bro, you'll be all right, brother.
We'd be very good. They call us touchdown
back
35 times a game.
Back to
back right now.
We be cooking if you was back there, huh, bro?
Telling you.
So I feel you. Yeah, I would think that, and it's just an interesting thing because as a person and as a man, it's just counting what you want in terms of your professional career. And for Kellen Moore, you do have kind of two kind of crazy situations. One, you could be really the start of a new dynasty and a new era in the NFL. And like you said, all the pieces are there. It's hard to find weaknesses on this team. right? It really is. When everybody's healthy, it's hard to find weaknesses on the team. But on the other hand, you have your inspirations of always being a head coach, right? That, like you said, and then money comes involved, right? You'll get paid probably top tier money. You just won a Super Bowl.
Cowboys
but that Saint roster ain't nothing like our roster. Like it's night and day.
Cowboys passing up on you when that really was just Jerry.
It was
being
a spit in the
impatient.
face.
It was Jerry being impatient, and I think that same conference, the ability to possibly play them. I think that goes into it a little bit.
Yeah.
Kellen
he played on the Cowboys, right?
Yeah, he coached, played and coached there for, I think.
Yeah. I'm about to say he coached for the Cowboys.
Organization for like 8 years.
Yeah, he was drafted by the Cowboys.
Was he drafted by the Cowboys too?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Where's the Boise State, dude?
Yeah,
bro.
That's right. Yeah. So every year the cycle repeats itself. We all seen this, but it'll be really interesting if he decides to run it back. I mean, I think Sirianni.
I will say one thing, not to interrupt you, but
no, go ahead.
I will say one thing. I think right now we're set up well with the off season, the guys that are out the door compared to like who's already in the building, especially like some practice squad guys that were under 2-year deals that are going to be on the roster for training camp next year and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We're in a much better position than the Chiefs. And we'll get into this at another show, but we're going to talk about this because the Kansas City Chiefs are at a point now where they have much bigger decisions to make than the Eagles do. And like I kind of was talking to some people this week, their superstars were kind of where our superstars were in 2022, where they were on the north side of 30. And when you have a team that was so young and so, put together so well, I mean, Darius Slay, Brandon Graham, outside of those two, and Lane Johnson, I mean, this team is young as can be. And I think that's why there is legitimate dynasty talk. But this is a college style pass the torch type of thing that we've done since 17. And like, this is possible. I mean, there is a chance that this team, just looking at where they're at, I mean, there's a chance they could lose everybody that could walk out the door potentially outside of Zach Bond. They need him to continue. But other than that, Becton could walk, Milton Williams could walk, Josh Sweat could walk, Kenny Gainwell could walk. I mean, Isaiah Rodgers could walk. It really wouldn't hurt the team.
Yeah.
And they still are going to draft well. And they've been smoking every draft. I mean, this is legitimate, potentially a start of a phenomenal run. And I will interject and say that it really started in 2022 and that we weren't that bad, an 11-win season in 2023. And it was, the doors were falling off the ship. And look at where we're at now. Yeah. I mean, it's 2 rings in less than 10 years. This is
it's crazy, right? How crazy is that?
This is damn right special, man. I mean,
totally different teams too.
And we're greedy too. Greedy right now for more.
Lose players. And again, we're going to get into this, for anybody watching, for those watching, we're going to get into the offseason talk. If you think that Howie Roseman's not going to sniff Myles Garrett and think about keeping this thing going for back-to-back, you're fucking crazy because he's going to. Now, whether it gets done or not, who knows? Andrew Berry's a former assistant GM of the Eagles, so, there's ties. It's just this thing has.
What do you think it would take to get Garrett?
A lot.
What's a lot?
Like more than 1 first-round pick, and like we'd have to swindle him into We'd have to swindle him into a Bryce Huff pick 32 this year, a second-round pick of next year or something. I mean, it would be, and then like another first down the road. Like it's going to take a lot. Scary enough. Do you think the team most poised to get him and be able to like extend him and everything would be the Commanders, and that would be terrifying.
That would be terrible. Yeah, that would be terrible.
Yeah.
I was scared of that. That's what I was
going
to say.
He goes to the Bills and he can just go.
Yeah.
We'll see if you can beat that.
I felt Washington is in a spot to go make a splash. And it's funny too, because I thought about, it's a copycat league, right?
Of course.
And you look at what the Eagles done. And we talked about, you already mentioned Josh Sweat, Milton Williams. We already know who Carter is, and even Nolan Smith. It's really interesting how the Eagles' defensive line has been constructed in a way where there is not a taking Carter out of it.
Star.
There's not a star. They're just all really good.
Built through Jalen Carter, and that is where our philosophy has kind of changed.
Yeah, but I mean, just in general, because usually when you see a Super Bowl team and you see a Super Bowl defense, there's a star defensive pass rusher, right? And we don't have one. We just have a lot of really good ones. Yeah. Right. And that is a really shift in terms. And even when we get to Hurts, I think Hurts has almost perfected the game manager as a quarterback. Like he's so efficient. It's silly. And I got his numbers here about his completion and the records that he's broken. But how they went and won a Super Bowl is a really, really interesting way how this team is constructed when you look at them. We can talk about the glitz and the glamour and the elite players and the elite talent. I'm not going to overlook that. But when you look at the key players that make you win, it's really interesting how this team is constructed. Because Jalen, like you said, in the Super Bowl, Saquon had like 80 yards on like 25 carries, 25 and they still killed them. Yeah, without Saquon doing anything, and Saquon's been running nuts all year round. Yeah. So you like that is a very interesting dynamic to me because it's really pick your poison. If you're going to sell out, Spags had a great plan to stop Saquon. But he couldn't stop Jalen.
No.
You know what I mean? And that's pick your poison.
They're going to get open. If the protection can stand, there's not enough. You'd have to have our defensive back end to keep up with them. I mean, that's what it is. They are set up well. I got a good one. Only 2 quarterbacks in NFL history have completed 70% of their passes and scored 3 touchdowns in multiple Super Bowl games. Tom Brady, Jalen Hurts.
Let me just add to that. Most total touchdowns in quarterbacks in the first 2 Super Bowls. 6 players all time with 3 plus total touchdowns on multiple Super Bowls. Like you said, second quarterback with 70% completion rate, 3 plus total touchdowns on multiple Super Bowls. Most rushing yards by a quarterback, 72, breaking his own record of 70 in Super Bowl. What was that? 47? 57. I'm sorry. Hurts has the 2 highest single game rushing yardage totals by a quarterback in the Super Bowl. 4th quarterback to win a Super Bowl after losing the first quarterback, Lee Dawson, Bob Greasy, and John Elway, 2 of them before our time. We know who Elway is. 3rd quarterback to start and win a college. 3rd quarterback to start and win a college football national champion and a Super Bowl, Joe Namath in Montana. 1st quarterback to defeat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, not named Joe Burrow or Tom Brady. Mahomes was previously 15-0 against any quarterback not named Burrow or Brady, the death of a dynasty, I would say. And the 1st quarterback to win a Super Bowl drafted after Patrick Mahomes since 2018. Bro, it's 2025. Like, what is going on? Like, record shattering by Jalen Hurts.
He's a gamer, man.
And I've been I've been a critic. I've always been a critic. I was not a Jalen Hurts fan, right? And you see the media, you see the outlets issuing these huge apologies for Jalen Hurts and what they said. Now, my basis was it's a passing league, right? And I think, and Humble and Ernie B, help me out here. When did you think the NFL became a year-to-year league where like teams start turning over year to year and teams start completely shifting their philosophy? Because before it was like, the Patriots and Chiefs kind of dynasty here, and like you try to mimic and copycat what they did into your own, and then go from there. The pocket passer style defense, run by committee, right, was always a big deal. Maybe you didn't really need a star receiver. Now it's more like year to year type base where you see teams shifting everything to beat the team that won the year before. Right? Constructing their teams to do that. So when do you think that year to year kind of started? Maybe what we say, maybe the start of the Chiefs dynasty, maybe?
I'd say more 2020. Kind of after the COVID year, it kind of started. Teams started to the Rams Super Bowl really
Because the
really
Rams
kinda
brought their
changed
Super
a lot.
Bowl.
Because when the Rams won the Super Bowl over the Bengals, I can't remember if that was 2021 or whatever it was, but it was different because they had sold their souls. They traded every pick, got all these guys, and it worked. And that had never worked before. And so teams were kind of like, well, wait a minute. Like, I mean, remember the GM Les Snead wore that one T-shirt that was like, fuck them draft picks or whatever, because they went out and still won the game.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's kind of when things started to shift to more of a year to year. But I just think that the ebb and flow as far as, heavy passing to defense run, I think that has just changed as the kind of rules have fluctuated around, like it feels like they kind of call the game differently every year. But I don't know. What do you think, Brent?
Listen, I'm as throwback as they're going to come when it comes down to this game of football, to the game that I love. And football is not that. This doesn't have to be that difficult. It's defense travels, right?
Defense wins championships.
And you have to be able to run the football. Yeah, it looks great on television. Yeah, to throw for 400 and 3 touchdowns. That's cute. But to win football championships, you're going to have to establish a run game, and you're going to have to play stout defense. It's rare. We can look at the past of all the Super Bowl champions. There's rare you're going to find one that didn't have a good defense. There's rare going to be one that didn't have at least a solid run game. Not a Saquon Barkley run game, just a solid run game. Kansas City Chiefs, for example, they've been in back-to-backs. They have Pacheco running the ball really well. And since Spags came back over to KC, that defense has been elite. Tampa Bay defense showed Kansas City who they were, right? Dominant defense. And they had what?
Solid run game.
They had solid run game.
Leonard Fournette
was busting behinds. And then right before that, you can go back to the New England Patriots era. Good run game, solid defenses. It's just simple, man. To win championships, football, listen, all the people that's throwing for all them yards, they ain't winning championships. Joe Barrows ain't winning championships. Josh Allen ain't winning championships. Lamar Jackson ain't winning championships. These are the MVPs of the league. They're not winning championships. Now, do they have to go through the Patrick Mahomes era? Of course they do, and that's tough to do. But I know one person that does really well against that Patrick Mahomes team, and that's that boy Jalen Hurts that's holding the trophy right now, because he's outplayed him in 2 Super Bowls, and he's beaten him once during the regular season. So to me, it's just about, listen, stick to who we are, be able to run the ball forward, and then everything else will follow. I mean, shit. Trent Dilfer has a Super Bowl. There's plenty. Joe Flacco got Super Bowls. Like, if you stick to the keys of football, running and defense, everything else will be okay, man.
We're set up very similar to the Legion of Boom.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's what they're kind of like trying to.
Very similar to the Legion of Boom, like young Russ when he wasn't quite.
Young Russ. Mm-hmm.
It didn't have to be. He wasn't throwing the ball all over the place. He was just making smart throws. He was mobile enough. They had Marshawn Lynch. You think about their secondary helped. Like it was. What is it? What do they say? It's like when you can marry the pass rush with your coverage. To like the way that we do and they did, it's poetry as far as the defense goes.
I mean, we can even talk about that. Sorry, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize.
No, I just think that's what this is the closest thing to. I don't think this is a potential for a Patriots or Chiefs like dynasty. I don't think that's the way we're set up. I think we're set up like the Legion of Boom, and that they did beat the absolute shit out of the Broncos in a Super Bowl,
and they lost one because of what?
Yeah.
They lost one because of what? They decided to throw the football at the goal line, and you had the Be sitting behind you.
Yeah, and they didn't want to do it.
Right. You know what I mean?
So I think that's what we're closest to. I think that we're just younger than where they were, and they were built around really good players around a young Russell Wilson on a rookie contract. This is different. This is Jalen Hurts already paid to do this, and then all these young players around. So we only have so much time. The window's now.
Yeah, windows now, for sure.
So I wanted to bring this up. I thought it might be a little bit better with the way this was, but you guys can still hear me, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll leave it like this. So while like Dan Oblowski just said, and I think he was one of the biggest guys to go out there and give an apology to Hurts, but head to head in Super Bowls, right? Like you said, Humble outplayed him let me bring that banner, the ticker down. Outplayed him in both games, right? 477 total yards, 25 first downs, 6 touchdowns, and 3 turnovers. I think those although that's just in those 2 games. But we talked about this before, Ernie B, and I think even mentioned what you, Humble, in one of the Money Pot betting show, was that Mahomes in the big game hasn't been all that, right? This past game, what, 3 touch? What did he have in this last game? Was it 3 and 2?
Mm-hmm.
3 and 2, right?
I think it's 2 and 2. I think we had 2 and 2.
Was it 2 and 2?
Did he throw 2 touchdowns? I don't think he threw 3 touchdowns.
Let me see real quick.
Maybe they did.
Yeah, 3. Yeah, 3. 3 and 2.
But those was fucking garbage.
Yeah, they were, but he scored 3. He still threw 3 touchdowns. Yep. 3 and 2. What brings his total, because I said he was 7-5, so 10 touchdowns and 7 picks. In Super Bowl appearances. And you got Jalen, right? 654 yards, 37 touchdowns, 7 touchdowns, and 2 turnovers. I don't know if that's 7 total touchdowns. I'm assuming so.
That's 7 total.
Yeah, 7 total touchdowns, right? Yeah, he has to be. Yeah, so just wanted to bring that up. Another record that was broken in the game. Saquon Barkley breaking the all-time single season yardage record as well. Over Terrell Davis. I forget what the number was where he broke it, but he only needed 31 yards. So we already knew he was going to go run and get that. And then also Devontae Smith, 5th player ever to win a Heisman Trophy National College Championship in a Super Bowl. So Eagles breaking records.
And
oh, good. Fact check me now, bro.
No, and out of all the great Alabamians that came out of University of Alabama, he is the first Alabama player to score a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Imagine that.
Yes, I did. I do remember seeing that. Seeing that.
All them Alabama guys. I swore Mark Ingram would have scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Did he got a ring with Baltimore or the Saints?
The Saints, right?
Was it the Saints?
Was that Mark Ingram was in the Saints? He didn't score that game? That's crazy to me.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy, but just a ton of record setters for the Eagles and everything across the board. I mean, we couldn't be more proud of our birds in this game. So I think we already kind of insinuated this. We already talked about it. Like you said, the team is built like the Seattle Seahawks. I didn't think of that, but I mean, Jalen's kind of comp coming out was Russ, right? Mm-hmm. And when you look at this team, it's funny because offensively we're so much more better than they were offensively, but defensively, I guess you could argue they were because they were a historic defense, and I guess this defensive group isn't. Maybe another year under the belt that changes. Always that second year for cornerbacks and such. Let me slow down. You think Slay's back? I know you said Slay was going to go, but do you think?
Yeah, I thought he said he was pretty much done. Right.
Well, no. He's going to play another year, 100%. Yeah. But as far as here or not, I don't know. They've got some stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Like, do you think Darius Slay plays here another year?
I'm 60-40. He's not going to be here.
You think he gets paid to play somewhere else because he has a year on his contract, right? He's still got a year.
He's still got a year left. Yeah.
Yeah. So he would have to get traded then at this point. Then
traded or cut.
Or cut. Yeah. And who would be the corner behind him? Would it be Rodgers?
Ilya Ringo would be the next one up.
You think they give it to Ringo?
Yeah, I mean that's the next guy up. I mean he would compete with Eli Ricks. That would be the other guy.
And Rodgers is on a 1-year deal. Was Rodgers on a 1-year deal?
Rodgers is a free agent.
Free agent. Okay. All right. Yeah, I didn't think about Slay. That'd be an interesting piece because Slay's getting so much flack, but I've always said Slay's been steady. He loses, but he wins. But he's steady to me.
I think they should try to find a way to bring him back for one more year. I just don't know. It's just funny because they have the same problem with Bradbury. They still have his contract. He's still on the roster, and they're making about the same money, which is around $13 million. And to pay 2 guys that money, I don't know how they're going to do it.
Does Bradbury have another year? Or is he done?
Bradbury, this next season is the last season, and there's Bradbury and Slayer have 1 more year left. They signed the same extension together.
It's so crazy. We got Bradbury on his team. We got Huff on his team. Bradbury. They got a ring.
Huff has got to be here. I know that for sure with his contract.
Unless
The way that contract
involved in the Myles Garrett trade, I don't think there's any hope. Bryce Huff is not on the roster.
Yeah, but I think but I think that, but you know what the thing about Hunt balances the Huff issue out because
Dude, Hunt played his freaking ass off in that game.
Hunt was a problem in the
Smith
Super
was
Bowl.
hurt there.
Wait, what did you say? You mean balance it because
balances out because they went out and got Huff, right, thinking he was going to be a starter, and he's not. He's more of a rotational guy in passing situations.
Also,
but I think so was Hunt. Hunt is a rotational guy too.
Hunt ball.
Hunt is an undersized 4-3 defensive end. He's a hand in the dirt pass rusher. He is not a stand-up pass rusher.
He got off the ball though, pretty good in that Super Bowl, man.
And, I'm talking about Bryce Huff.
Bryce Huff.
Oh, Huff. I thought you were talking about Hunt. Okay.
No, Hunt looked phenomenal. I mean, Hunt is so far ahead of where they wanted him to be that
he's dumb athletic, bro. I didn't know he was that athletic. It changes
the way I look at how they're going to handle the pass rush next year because honestly, Jalen Hunt, Nolan Smith as your starters, that's not that bad. That sounds pretty good to me.
It's okay. I'll put it at okay level.
Well,
you know how I felt about Nolan. You know what I mean?
Dude, did you watch the clip I sent you when he did to Trey Smith?
Yeah,
Trey Smith's going to get $20 million a year. He had
I watched it, man.
Moss is not a believer yet.
You know what? I did no. I'll take that. I have become a believer because he broke a record, which is surprising to me. But he broke a sack record for the Eagles in the playoffs, so I got to give him his credit. Where it is, and then he's honestly stout against the run.
Pretty good,
right? He's stout. He's stout against the run.
2.0, and they both took a long time to get started.
So, I mean, I think Baldy said it that he feels like Nolan Smith is the most improved player. You know, in the NFL.
Baldy said Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter are the most violent, players on the defensive front in the NFL.
Yeah, I would get. I mean, I did a whole show that I think I asked this is Jalen Carter dirty. I like my lineman a little nasty.
It's not a bad term. He's not dirty.
But he throws some shots in there. He throws some shots in there.
It's the trenches.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Trenches, man.
He threw a good punch to Pat right in the chops. It was an open palm, right? E Honda, right? E Honda, right in his face.
You just get smacked around. It's football. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it is. It is for sure. But yeah, no, it'll be fun getting to the offseason and how, you know, it's constructed because you always lose players. Teams not quite the same, but there's so many core
Bill
pieces.
Williams
here.
is like guaranteed out the door. That's one that.
Oh yeah, he made money. 2 sacks. He made money. He made money.
He's gonna get paid.
Yeah.
But we got
it's unfortunate too because I'm
to fill right in there. So
I'm a big Milt fan. I'm a big Milt.
Love Big Milt, dude.
Yeah, I'm a big Milt fan.
I've been hearing Carolina and New England for him. So
that makes sense.
Don't do it.
Go to Carolina.
Come on, stay home. Stay home, baby.
Yeah. I mean, some of them might, right? To run it back, just to run it back, a little bit of raise.
You're gonna get that paid.
I think Gainwell can be paid more than we will offer him. I think somebody's going to pay Kenny Gainwell because I really think he's a good running back. He's a great team.
He's a great number 2
for RBC.
So we're talking about construction, and we'll get more into that. I think in the offseason, I think that'll be fun to do. Ernie being in Humble, you're always welcome to join the conversation. But let's talk about the start. You see the pause, right? Just to get on camera. It was a long hug. It was a long hug to get on camera. Show the braids off. Well, do you guys in Humble? I'll switch to you. We've heard this kind of dynasty talk going, right? We've even prefixed it with the Seattle Seahawks and how this team is somewhat similar constructed. Is this the start of the Hurts era?
Of the Hurts era?
Yeah, I mean, he's the quarterback, right? Got to start with him. Always start with the quarterback.
I think that era started a couple years ago. I mean, if we want to say this is the start of a dynasty, yes. I think Hurts era started when he led us to the Super Bowl in 2022.
Okay.
I think what happened was we've lost confidence in him because he doesn't look like what we want him to look like. And I think and he's the ultimate Swiss Army knife. What I'm saying by that is that he's able to take the back seat when he knows he needs to for the best value for the team. So it's not about Jalen Hurts, although he's going to get the most criticism. He's going to take it. I mean, I'm saying there's some things I've heard him, a lot of clips going around, a lot of quotes I've been hearing from him, man. There's one clip, and I wish I can play it for you. I think I shared it with you earlier today or yesterday. It's a conversation between him and Saquon Barkley, and Saquon Barkley asked him if he was fearless, if he thought he was fearless. And it was just a random conversation that the mics caught up like a hot mic, and it just is such a deep conversation, how quick he was with what he thought. So to me, it's all about between the ears, man. And I think that he's unwavering. Like, you just can't push him off no matter what. And that's why he continues to be great. So for me, he learned his lesson in 2022. We're now Super Bowl champions because of that. Those moments can kill players. Those moments people don't come back from, and they're still chasing. And then to follow up with that, to have an 11-win season, then completely fall off the map, and he still bounces right back up the next year and will take us to the pinnacle and gets us a chip, become the Super Bowl MVP, while all through the season we've been saying Hurts can't do this, Hurts can't do that. It's Saquon Barkley. This is Barkley's team. And he still shows up in NFC Championship when we need him the most and come in here. We know they're going to try to stop Saquon Barkley. And what does he do? He becomes the MVP of the Super Bowl because he's able to be pretty much perfect besides one play. So I think the Hurts era already started. The dynasty started yesterday. And I think we're young enough as a team that we can carry this for the next 3 to 5 years. I give us a 3 to 5 window. We got to make sure we do whatever we can do.
Window.
It's a big window because we're that young and they're paid already. Like, our key players are pretty much paid. 3 to 5.
I'll slow it down. Maybe 3. I say 3 is the window. 5 is crazy.
Well, I'm saying the window is 3 to 5. I think Ernie said is 4. That's in
I
between.
go 2 to 4. Like I said, 2 to 4.
2 to 4.
We've got about, like, guaranteed. We have 2 more years, money wise, and the way guys are should be sticking around. Like, as far as we're built, because then we don't have to worry about paying Carter and stuff until then. So, like, we're right there. But I mean, dude, you go and you win. Let's say 3 seasons, you win 2 out of 3 or something like that. Like, that's.
I think one we get to. I think we'll at least get 1 more Super Bowl win in the next 3 years.
I think we run it right back.
Yeah, I wouldn't
think we run it right back.
We opened up as a favorite already, right? We opened up as a favorite.
But I mean, it just depends. Let's see what they do. Let's see the moves they make. We'll follow it all. All off season. We'll be on top of it. I just think that they have a golden opportunity. And I don't think they're going to fuck it up, but, in 18, they kind of doubled down and went all in instead of they were built differently, a little bit different.
Yeah. I didn't think 18, we had a dynasty. I think this is a dynasty because of the youth that we have. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. I think the dynasty I can see it.
Key positions,
right. Key positions.
But I think they have to
they have the best defense in the league.
Yeah, but you got to be smart though, man. Like, you got to kind of do like Bill used to do with the Patriots, and like Milton Williams, you just got to let him go. Like, like Mekhi Becton, you just let him go.
Let him go.
And whatever O-lineman you draft in the first round, teach him how to.
Can't let Bone go. You can't let Bone go.
No, Bond cannot go anywhere.
Bone is the future.
The tricky part about Bond is linebacker and edge rusher are not differentiated in the franchise tag. So if our negotiations go south, the franchise tag would be $27 million fully guaranteed, which I can tell you right now, Laurie would never sign that check for any off-ball linebacker. Fred Warner, you could bring Luke Kuechly back, he wouldn't do it. Mm-hmm. So it's just kind of Bond has all the leverage. I was talking about this before off camera. He's both starting linebackers from the Super Bowl are going to be free agents this offseason, just like they were in 2022. Mm-hmm. And this time we just need to bring one back. We just got to bring one back.
Yeah. And for Vic Fangio defense, the linebacker is key. So I think that's going to kind of run
linebackers. It's a perfect mesh throughout the entire defense. You got to have the right guys in the right places. Right. I just think, right now the priority is going to be another pass rusher, another offensive lineman, and making sure we re-sign Zach Bond.
Yeah, I agree. I heard you guys drop both. About Hurts, about Super Bowl. We love NFL on their stories, and NFL loves their stories. Do you feel like Hurts was the Super Bowl MVP?
Yeah,
that defense was
anybody else you could have picked, man. I mean,
that defense was silly.
Yeah, but who would you pick? Jalen Carter didn't record a tackle.
Yeah, and once
I thought Sweat was pretty.
Yeah, 2.5 sacks was big.
Yeah, 2.5 sacks in the Super Bowl.
Big, but
that's tough.
But they were more group tackles. They were more group sacks. There was a lot of. It wasn't no individual like opportunity besides Cooper DeJean with that pick six.
Yeah,
I think
the only other guy.
When Zach Bond got that pick, I was like, "Oh, get up and run, baby!
Right.
Get up and run and score!"
I thought
I got money on you.
The key to get to the MVP was that 50-yard bomb to Smith. Once he did that, it was going to go.
Because that throw was stupid.
Correct.
That throw
Once
was
he
stupid.
did that, it was over.
Yeah, that throw was stupid.
It was shaky. I was on Dean. I was on Cooper DeJean. Like, okay, Cooper DeJean in the first half, the dominant. They didn't score no points. It's pick six. Hurts was just steady, but nothing crazy.
If Cooper had a punt return, I was like, "Oh, Cooper's
so irritating is
to
watch him play like this." And I'm one of the guys that will tell you he's not the same tier as Mahomes or Burrow. He's just not there. But the first down on the first drive to Smith, I know everybody that was watching from TV from that view thought that ball was going to AJ Brown, and it was like that doesn't look good. And then no, it's just Devontae right there in the corner, and he just tips his toes, and I was like, dude, that was a bullet. I mean, he made one bad throw that game, and that was the interception.
Yep.
Yeah, it was
one bad throw.
That
just showed he just does not have Josh Allen, Mahomes, Burrow, Herbert level arm strength. He just doesn't.
Well, I also do think that our nemesis with the Kansas City Chiefs, who was getting after us early, which is Bolton, he was in his face,
and he's a free agent. He's a free agent for the Chiefs too.
So Bolton, I think, in that interception, got on him faster than he thought, and that's what made him throw the ball short.
Well, it was 100%. And Cam Jurgens blew the block there. He blew the pickup. So it's not that. It was. I just don't think not to get too deep into it, but if Mahomes or any of the guys that I listed before, they still have that wrist flick strength to get that ball where it needs to be. Whereas Hurts has to square up, very similar to Russell Wilson, and they've got to get it there. They can throw the most accurate pretty ball in the world, but they just don't have rocket launchers for arms.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I like the prefix, right? We kind of talked about it earlier. Humble, I'll go with you, man. List them top 5 quarterbacks right now.
Right now, top 5 quarterbacks.
Right now, top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, get. I heard the pin. I heard.
You gotta write it down.
I heard the pin.
I'll say Patrick. I'm gonna give you a reason. Patrick Mahomes just has all the intangibles. He's just he can throw at every angle.
He'll be demanding an offensive line this offseason.
Right, he does. Nobody can do anything with the way we played yesterday. I don't care who you put back there. Joe Montana back there.
Away from Patty, man. This takes nothing away from Patty. Correct. It's just, it's. Are we talking Brady? Or are we talking Manning? You know what I mean? Right. I'm leaning now more towards Manning as opposed to Brady. But Brady and Jordan never flinched.
Right now, I have Patrick having all the intangibles of being one of the best of all time, if not the GOAT. Josh Allen is a unicorn. That's my number 2. He's a unicorn. He's 6'5".
He's a Terminator.
He can run.
He's Cam Newton. He's Cam Newton in every sense that we wanted Cam Newton to be, but he never was going to be. Right. I mean, he's above that, which is unbelievable.
All right. So we got Pat, Josh. We're gonna go Lamar.
I'm with you.
Lamar is just the most electric football player we've ever probably seen since Michael Vick.
Yep.
So you put Lamar at 3?
100%.
Lamar at 3.
Oh, you guys are tripping.
So I'm going Pat, Josh, Lamar.
You guys are tripping. I want to stop you there because I'm writing it down because I'm agreeing with you in your top 2, but there's no way you can't put. How do you not put Jalen Hurts as the top 3 quarterback in the NFL right today?
There's no.
You have to.
No.
You have to. Because at the end of the day, money's nice, as he said. The winning's the only thing that matters, and you can't tell me you can't put Lamar.
What are you asking me? Do you want me to get a guy that's going to win with a great roster and a great organization?
From what you've seen of their careers right now, and you did an NFL draft right now.
Well, that's different.
You're going to pick the quarterback who doesn't have a Super Bowl.
Well, no, that's different. You didn't answer me that question because we can rank them that way. And if we're going to rank them that way, it'll be Patrick Mahomes.
You have to rank them. You have to rank them that way.
If you're going to put it that way, I would say Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. Those are only 2 in the last 5 years that has won a championship. That's relevant.
I know.
Besides Matthew, that would go what? Matthew
But
Stafford.
I agree with you.
I can't-
Yeah,
Even though Hurts,
rank them. Let's rank them by
even though
consistency. Let's talk about consistency.
we can't if we're ranking them by talent, you have to rank them also by their accomplishments. If you're doing
That's
just
fine.
solely talent,
That's
I agree.
fine. But
I
Lamar,
agree with
the
you.
three that we named have never had a game like Jalen did against the Buccaneers. And he's done that multiple times in his career where he looks like an absolute dud.
Yeah, but none of
They've
those guys got
never
a
had
ring
that.
either.
They've never had that.
They never had a ring.
I
either,
mean, that's
so-
fine, but they also have to go through Mahomes. Both guys we listed.
That Jalen's done.
And the only other guy in the conversation is Joe Burrow.
He don't got no ring.
I mean, dude, come on. I mean,
Hold on. I will give you Allen at number 2, though.
But why? Hold on. No. That now that doesn't make sense what you're arguing right now.
No,
Allen has
what-
done
what
anything.
has Josh Allen done?
I will give you
He's
Allen.
one
at number-
MVP.
I
and
will
you're
give you
arguing
Allen
Lamar?
at number 2. Right?
Why?
Like you said,
No, don't argue.
he's an MVP, but also there's nothing on Buffalo. Completely anything compared to what Hurts has. Right?
Okay.
We're talking about AJ Brown. We're talking about Smitty, the biggest offensive line in the NFL.
The best.
The best offensive line in the
Yeah.
NFL.
The
Premium
best running
across the
back in
board,
football.
except for maybe the right
Two
guard.
top 10
And you-
receivers, a top
and you have
five
a
tight
best-
end,
you have a-
like,
the best defense. Like Jalen has the setup, right? He's got to still go deliver, but he has the setup.
So timeout, real quick. I throw in the timeout real quick.
You
Let me
like,
throw in
yeah,
timeout.
go ahead, sure.
So before this, let me ask you, boss.
Yeah.
Before this Super Bowl championship, throughout the where do you have Jalen before this? Where did you
I'm
have him
pretty
at?
sure if we went back, there's a comment out there where he was like, I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback.
Right. Where do
Who,
you
me?
have?
No, I had him as a top 10 quarterback.
Where? This estimate. Just give me an estimate. Don't gotta be
I
accurate.
estimate I probably had him around like 5 or 6.
You had him that high? You said you weren't a Jalen guy.
I'm not a Jalen guy, but I respect the winning.
You had Jalen at a 5 or 6?
Somewhere around there.
Okay.
No, actually,
so, all right. Well, your jump from 5 to 3.
Let me more like 7, 8 because I'm a Stafford fan too.
I'm going to ask you the question then, because
I'm a
this
big
is
Matt
the
Stafford
easiest
fan.
question when arguing this. If you took Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and you put them in our team, would we be even better than we are?
Very likely. But we don't. But that scenario is like
Can I
we
finish my
can
top
play
5?
fantasy football we want, but it's like we got to look at what we got in front of us.
Can I
It's
finish my
pretty
top
simple.
5?
I think
Go
he
ahead.
might be-
Finish your top 5, bro.
I'm gonna go.
So you got Lamar at 3, right?
I got Lamar at 3. I have Jalen at
Blasphemy.
4,
Okay.
and I have Burrow at 5. And why I'm saying that is because Jalen has now been to 2. I'm giving Jalen that 4th spot because I think the 3 people above him are just very unique in their own way. They're just very special people that we probably haven't seen in our lifetime, between Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen since Cam Newton, and a elevated Cam Newton, and then Lamar Jackson since Michael Vick, and elevated Michael Vick, and then we have Jalen, who just is elite. I think is the best, like you said, game manager.
He could go down as the best game manager of all time.
He could be. He could be. He's a winner. He's a leader. I go Burrow because I think
he said no.
No,
Oh, my fault.
Tom
My fault.
Brady
Barrow-
was the game manager.
Tom Brady was a game manager. I got Barrow later because a Barrow kind of gives me Carson Palmer. He just gives me Carson Palmer. Can throw the ball at every level. Had great receivers. They just look the same to me.
Burrow's more Stafford than Palmer.
Yeah,
he's just stuck in more of a Paul. He's just stuck in Palmer's.
I think he's got a better talent ceiling than Palmer.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I mean,
but
we are talking about let's not. I mean, I know their defense have not been great, and I know he put up 30+ points, so I know he can. But you got to think he's surrounded by the TOs. He's surrounded by the Chad Johnsons. Like they're the same. If you think about their offense almost looks just like the old Cincinnati Bengals offense. Chad Johnson could be your Jamar Chase.
T.O. was
T.O.
at
could
the
be
end.
T. Higgins.
I mean, they had was it Husmanzada?
Husmanzada
Yeah,
could be.
Mama.
Yeah, TJ Husmanzada.
Yeah.
Right, like they're very similar to the old Cincinnati. They've been there before. That's the only reason I'm bringing Burrow down to the 5th because he has all the potential. He just hasn't got the chance to get him over the hump. So that's my top 5.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing for me, I would just I would just switch Hurts and Lamar. I mean, out of your 5, that was the only thing with me. I mean, being
MVP.
I mean, he just wanted, bro. I mean, I think the homie said it right.
Should have been a 3-time
new to the show, the card shark. QBs always are judged more off their postseason success and specifically rings. And we don't even have to get to rings to talk about Lamar. We're talking about just postseason success. Hurts hasn't beat in that alone.
Yeah. Well, then Hurts should be number 2 if we're going by that.
I wouldn't argue if you put Hurts 2. I would personally put Allen 2. You know what I mean? Because like you said, he's just a unicorn. But I mean, I would be like, yeah, I can't knock that. I mean, Ernie B, I mean, talk to me, man. You play.
Fucking crazy, man. You're fucking crazy. Man.
I said, talk to me. You're fucking crazy.
Not a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, man. I mean,
oh wow, you had him out of 5.
Oh, not the top 5.
If anything,
all right, I'll give you the 5.
If anything, he's 5. But like, there are arguments that could be made that Justin Herbert's still right.
Oh no, we're not doing that.
Yeah,
no,
you gotta go.
Right,
you gotta go with the Herbert bullshit. You gotta
go
with the Herbert bullshit. Come on now.
You can say Harbaugh is going to get a lot out of him, and I would even say Jalen Hurts is more like.
We talk about right now, though.
We talk about right now.
I got a good one for you. Do either of you guys know how what Baker Mayfield's stat line looked like this year?
Oh, good. Beautiful. Baker was
over
a problem.
4,000 yards passing, 44 44 total touchdowns.
Yeah, and he said Cancun real early.
16 picks. That's not. I mean,
it wasn't a far trip from Florida.
He's just not a winner. That's the problem.
I just don't. I mean, look, I'm a big fan of Jalen Hurts, but I'm not gonna sit on camera and try to say that he's
fair.
better.
I like it.
Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I like that.
That's not a thing. He's not. He's not better than Lamar. Like, he's not.
I agree with you on that one.
I'm no talent. I don't think he's better than Lamar. I'm not saying that he's
so
better
when you
than
ask
Lamar.
The question, who's a better?
But he's a better winner.
And
winning
okay?
is
like
for me.
Who's the second greatest quarterback of all time to you?
The second greatest quarterback of all time.
You just saw.
That's a fucking crazy question. The second greatest quarterback.
You just saw him play on Sunday. What do you mean?
He said the second greatest of.
There's another guy that's
Patrick Mahomes is the second greatest quarterback.
I don't know, because Montana ain't never lose in the bowl.
Doesn't matter.
What do you mean?
We're talking to play the game, and you're not going to talk about Peyton Manning.
Oh, but he's not the second.
He's not better than Montana.
No, he's top 5. Peyton Manning definitely top 5 all time.
Yeah,
but
and if you're talking about freak talent, you can talk about Dan Marino.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the whole package. Everything's got to go together. Okay, we're not just talking about talent. We're talking about the whole package.
Pump the brakes. Like one. I'm all for it, but it's like, dude, like, let's be real.
I gotta go. I gotta go with Montana for number 2. He never lost. He didn't lose in the Super Bowl.
Is definitely the second best of all time.
Who? Mahomes?
Patrick Mahomes. Yeah.
He just got his ass whooped.
That doesn't matter. You know his
that doesn't matter.
He hasn't not played a game outside of the AFC Championship game.
So who's the best?
He's also.
We'll switch it. Who's the best? Who's the second? Never mind. I can't do that. I can't do. Well, I guess
the greatest quarterback of all time. It's
no. I was going to say basketball
player of all time. It's Tom
Brady.
Are
you not putting LeBron over Mike?
No.
Why? Because Mike's never lost in the finals.
I'm not putting Bron over Mike.
Bron is number 2, though. I'm clearly saying Bron's number 2.
Bron's. That's why I said it didn't really work. That's what I was saying. Because I guess you could say Kobe.
That's why the question is Mahomes closer to Manning or is he closer to fucking Brady right now?
He's closer to Brady.
He's closer to Brady for sure.
You think so, man? Where is this Peyton Manning disrespect coming from?
Well, because
he did the Brady move to the Broncos before.
How many times have Peyton Manning been to the NFC Championship?
The AFC Championship?
The AFC Championship.
A lot. Because he lost to Tom a lot. Or at least on the way there. Because Tom.
Yes, that's why I would like to see that stat. Because Patrick Mahomes has not had a season where he's not been to the AFC Championship. That's insane.
Yeah.
That right there is insane. He's always played in that game. His whole career.
Yeah, football,
5 Super Bowl appearances, right?
Football geeks and they drool over Peyton.
5 Super Bowl appearances. How many years? 7?
8.
5 Super Bowl appearances in 8 years. Are you hearing what we're saying right now?
In 7 straight AFC Championship games.
That's insane. He's number 2.
Jim Kelly went to 4 straight Super Bowls.
He's two.
Are we talking
One,
about Chip
two,
Kelly?
Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes. Then you could go Joe Montana.
Nah,
And if you want to put Peyton Manning at 4 or 5, I'm good with that too.
Peyton 4 is as low as I would drop.
Cool. I respect that. I respect
Manning
that.
was ridiculous, dude. Like,
yeah.
I
You
respect
put your foot down on that one, right? We not disrespecting Peyton no more than 4, right?
no,
Peyton
dude. I'm not taking Peyton disrespect. Peyton is disgusting.
What would he have? He only had 2 Super Bowls, right?
He got 2.
Yeah.
One with the Colts and one with the Broncos.
Denver Broncos, right?
Yeah, he just didn't go to the NFC. You know,
but
he just stuck around in the AFC.
He thought his way through the Broncos win. He was a shell. He was nothing in the Broncos.
Well,
but he still got a ring.
That was post neck and all.
The neck injury.
Yeah. I mean, so we went through the full quarterback carousel, which was funny. Kellen Moore leaving, how the Chiefs blew out the Chiefs. I'm sorry, how the Eagles blew out the Chiefs. The start of this Hurts era. Talk to even a little about next season. I mean, are you guys betting right now? Are we betting the Eagles? Is it time to put some money on the Birds right now before those odds drop? I just looked at the odds. Looks like there's 3 of them, right? Chiefs, Ravens, and Birds are all plus 650, and then the Bills are plus 700. I mean, is it already time to bet? Does it make sense to bet the Birds right now?
I think the Chiefs take a step back, so I'm going to probably go under on their win totals. They have serious issues at the offensive line position.
Yeah, I agree.
Plus 600 looks good for this. I believe that the Eagles will make a run again. So
yeah,
plus 600 I like.
Seems low.
It does. I would like it to be more. But
yeah, I'll be at least 10-1
for a Super Bowl win is
like.
But we are champions. We are champions right now, so it's hard to see our team.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
6-1 is like dumb low. I don't even want to bet it. Right, 6-1.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. But with people watching right now, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, follow your boys on Victory Mondays. Shit, yo, we had a Victory Monday for what, 10, 12 weeks straight? Like, it was silly.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, it was crazy. Victory Mondays that we had. So what a great way to end the season. And like Ernie B said, off season is going to come here really quick. So can't wait to kind of dive into that. First year was the first time I really deep dived into it was last year. Hoping to kind of pick up that, we talk about draft stuff. We're talking about front office stuff, all the stuff that a lot of the football buffs like to get into. And this season will turn around really quick, right?
I'd say, like, what were we talking? 1 week off, and then the week after we'll just get right to free agency and just kind of talk. We'll assess the roster post Super Bowl.
For sure. We'll drop, we'll get the dates out of all the important dates and kind of where we're at and in our process. The what was it? The Senior Bowl already happened.
Senior Bowl, Shrine Bowl happened. We got the Combine coming up, so it's going to be about. I'd like to. What we're probably going to do is cover where the Eagles are right now before we do anything, like who's out, who's in, maybe a couple young guys to watch out for going into next season's training camp, and then we'll start diving into the Combine stuff and kind of talking about how every single Penn State player is going to freak out at the Combine like they do every year.
Right.
Bill Carter will jump through the roof. I can promise it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, he's a freak. Shout out to the LaSalle boy.
Is Cam Ward still number 1?
Yes.
We don't need it.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, we'll see. How dumb is Tennessee?
Oh, ooh.
They don't take out Bill Carter. They're not smart.
Do you think he's hands down the best player in the draft?
Yeah, but it's not that great of a draft. So
yeah, I would agree with there.
Abdul Carter, you think should be the number 1 pick?
That's crazy. That's LaSalle boy, number 1 pick.
That is crazy.
He should be.
How crazy!
Speaking of LaSalle, I've been to LaSalle a couple times.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I'm trying to find y'all wall of like great players that come out of it. I'm not really seeing it. I see it. What's going on?
Well, you got Franklin. Right now,
yeah, I don't see him nowhere on the hall anywhere. I don't see.
Yeah.
What's going on
there? And then you got Carter just there.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a lineman here and there, but those are the 2 that I know off the top of my head. my years. Yeah, like Brett Gordon, he went to Villanova.
I see he's on the wall.
Yeah, he was just. I mean, well, he's a coach now. They just was it this year they won or last year they won? I forget what year they won. States, but he was just he's a short dude, man. He's like 5'9". Had a crazy arm. You know what I mean? But he was just too small. But yeah, other than that, I don't think anybody really. I didn't make it, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like y'all have. I'm in there. I've been there 3 times this year to ref basketball. You get into the gym, usually it's where all your stuff is like hanging up. And you see the retired numbers, you see all your stuff. And you guys have like these plaques. We're nice. The gym is really nice plaques on against the wall.
Yeah,
I'll be like looking for like these new guys that are coming up that's making a face. I don't see no Zaire Franklin.
Yeah, I think if you walk around, they got like the
okay,
the trophy cases.
Okay.
That you walk around. You know what I mean? You might see me in there. You know what I mean?
Might see you in there?
You might see me in there, doggy.
All right.
You might see me in there. Maybe. It's I haven't been there in a long time, so they might have took me down. You know what I mean? I was up at one point. They might have took me down, though. Man. Mm-hmm. So with that said, with the season formally coming to a close, because of Super Bowl, I just want to talk about, like I said, for those who are watching, what's coming next. So we have the off season for Victory Mondays. We still got our Wednesday show, talking about everything going on in sports right now. I mean, Jalen Be talking about getting another knee surgery. So that should be fun to talk about everything in sports. The betting show will come a little bit slower because football is over. Starting a new series about basketball betting. You guys can always watch Money Pot for our educational shows in terms of how to bet. I got a betting odds show coming out, so make sure you guys tune in for that. But for the most part, man, what a great football season and what a great season we had this year. We won a lot of money. We talked a lot of shit from the beginning. A lot of back and forth conversation, a lot of interaction with you guys as the fans. Chime in. I love seeing new names. Car Shark, one who did a drop in, Little G Griffin, and Marcus Walker. All you guys, new names, new faces. Love to see it. So make sure you guys keep that coming. Tell a friend to tell a friend. One more thing, the merch store is coming along well. So that will be coming up as well. We got some nice gambling gear if you want to show. As always, if you have any issues, go ahead and talk to 1-800-GAMBLER. Reach out for any gambling problems. But if you wear your gambling and degenerates on your sleeve and you can do it responsibly, we do have some merch stuff coming out that's got some cool gear and stuff for our gamblers. So make sure you check that out. I will be dropping that here soon. Until then, you boys got anything else to add on the season so far?
Look at my lock screen.
Yeah, I got to put that one on the shirt. That joint is cold. I think I got to put that on a shirt. I think I'm going to make a shirt for that.
Fire, boy.
That joint is cold. He knew what he was doing.
That's that Jordan. That's that Jordan.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing.
He knew it.
He knew what he was doing. He absolutely knew what he was doing.
With the Jordans on,
yeah.
Though.
There was like 3 cameras around him. You know what I mean? He knew exactly what he was doing when he sat down and got that thing, man. So best believe that.
I need that on a T-shirt. You're right.
I'm going to get that on the T-shirt. You know what I mean?
Let's go. Get that on the T-shirt.
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah, I got you on the T-shirt, man. We gotta get some Super Bowl gear up on the website once it comes up. So for myself, I'm Moss Money. That's Be Humble. That's Ernie B. This is Victory Mondays Pods. We will see you guys in 2 weeks, I think, right, Ernie B? On these on Victory Money Pod when we start the off-season schedule. Until then, we will see you guys later. Have a good night. Fly Eagles 5, man. We'll see you on Broad Street on Friday, man. Let's go.
Friday.
Yeah, Friday. That's when the parade is. Broad Street, baby.